Hey everybody, it's Paul.
And Steve.
And we are back to discuss it all. Now, before we get to today's topic, and if you watched the last video, you know what today's going to be about. We need to cover a few things. Please, if you enjoy this channel, make sure to leave it a thumbs up. Hit the subscribe button, hit the notification button, and if you have any friends you think would enjoy it, make sure to share. All those things really help the channel out a lot. It tells the YouTube algorithm that you enjoy this channel, and it will help other people find it easier. Yeah. All right, so we want to thank you guys so much for doing that. If you have any questions for us, please leave those in the comments down below. Also, we will be doing a question and answer video when we hit 500 subscribers, and we are looking forward to interacting with you guys in that way. Now, today's video, Steve.
Today's video. So, in the last video, we talked about technology that changed our life.
Yep.
So, life-changing tech. In this video, we're going to talk about technology that we love to hate. So, we have a love-hate relationship.
Yep.
So, what technology is it that we love on the one hand, but we also hate it on the other hand? So some exciting things.
This is going to be good. I'm interested to see what we come up with. So why don't you go ahead and go first?
I'll go first.
Yeah.
Okay. So my first technological development that I love on the one hand, I hate on the other hand. It's almost obvious and goes without saying, but that's the smartphone. I love having a smartphone because of all the things I can do with it. But at the same time, I absolutely hate it because of all the things it makes me do. And so having it, on the one hand, I want to be able to do the things I want to do, but I don't want other people to know that I can do those things because now they're going to ask me, they're going to send me an email and they know 24 hours a day, 7 days a week that I have access to email because it's in my pocket or a text or whatever. So I love the smartphone. I think, I try to buy the latest when it comes out and I really keep up with it. And I'm learning those things and I use all the upgrades that my kids have and I give them hand-me-downs so that I can so I love the smartphone, but I hate the smartphone. Hate the smartphone.
So I'm right there with you for so many reasons. Number one, you and I both grew up in a time when there was what I affectionately call the free-range kid.
Yeah, that's right.
Which basically just means a kid that's running loose somewhere, right. Usually on a bicycle, maybe on foot. Parents don't know where they're at, but they trust that the kid knows enough to be okay.
That's right. Not get kidnapped.
Yeah, not get kidnapped or fall in quicksand, which is a big
Maybe that's why I was on the show so much.
Maybe. And you did not have a phone. I mean, you maybe you had a pay phone,
right?
Which meant you had to have some change in your pocket, which taught you self-sufficiency or resourcefulness, or if you were really brave and brazen, you would go to a store owner and say, "Hey, I'm running a little bit late. I need to call home. Do you mind if I use your phone real quick?" That's and that would always be followed up at the store owner. I've never been turned down for that, but it's a local call, right?
That's exactly right. Yeah, you weren't paying for that one.
Yeah. So to me that's probably the biggest thing. It's just that sacrificing of the self-sufficiency, and I believe there was so much confidence that came with just that kind of like literally cutting the cord.
Yeah, sure.
Just being out there.
That's right.
Now, of course, in my opinion, it's not even really a phone anymore. It's really a computer that you're carrying around in your pocket that just happens to be able to make phone calls.
That's right.
But I'm with you, and I'd be interested in your opinion on this. You had mentioned it, definitely 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. What's that like? Because, I mean, before there were office hours.
Yeah, that's right.
It was kind of like, you went to work from this time to this time, and when you were done, and that's it. But of course, now with the phones,
right.
People can get in touch with you, and they kind of expect a response.
They do. Absolutely. That's right.
Basically that 24/7 kind of thing. Do you find that?
Yeah, I think you're exactly right. And the problem with that, and I think not only do I personally hate it just because I have to do this, but I also hate it because it means there's no downtime.
Right.
So you don't go on vacation. Because if you go on vacation, you're going to take your phone, and if you take your phone because you're going to be surfing the internet or because you're going to be checking Facebook or whatever, or watching YouTube videos, you're also going to then have access to your email, and you're going to be tempted to check your email. And if there's something that's pressing, that you can put an out of office reply and say, I'm not going to be back for another week. But if someone sends it, they expect that you're going to text them back, or you're going to email them back, or call them back. And so there's no downtime for people anymore.
Yeah.
You can't check out. You can't get to the end of the day and say, now I'm moving to being with my family, or now I'm moving to my hobby that I'm going to do, because you're going to have it with you all the time. So.
I'm right there with you on that. That's a great pick, and like you said, it kind of does go without saying. So I'm going to go in a little bit different of a direction for my first pick, and that's going to be ebooks.
All right. Okay.
So I love the convenience of it. I mean, you can download a book.
That's right.
And it's great. And I really do appreciate and like that I can use it on my iPad, so I can read in a dark room. If Shannon and I are in bed and she wants to go to sleep and I want to stay up and read, no problem with that. As opposed to a paper book. Why I don't like them is because it is pushing paper books further and further out of the market. And I like physically, I like it for two reasons. Number one, I just like the physical feeling of holding something. I like that idea. I also really like the idea that I physically own what the author put down, because little known fact, you can go and you can edit an ebook, and now all of a sudden, because even though you've downloaded it, it could be updated. It could, a section could go away. It could change.
It's been fixed.
Much the same way that George Lucas fixed Star Wars.
No, let's not even go there.
So that's kind of why I have the love-hate thing with ebooks. More so, I think, just because it's pushing a medium that I really like out. The same way that print newspapers have kind of gone away almost. I see the same things happening to books.
Right. I agree. And as an author, I mean, I've written a bunch of books and hopefully will write a whole lot more. But there is this this love-hate because on the one hand, you want to have access, and that's what ebooks do. It makes access for people who, otherwise it's so expensive to write, not to write a book, it's so expensive to produce a book. And so you got to get the paper, and you've got to design things, and you've got to print it out, and you've got this one physical thing, and you've got to send it to somebody. With an ebook, somebody can go on Kindle, on Amazon, and they can write a book, which may not be a good thing that they're writing that book, and they can produce it just like this, and millions of people can download it in an instant. So there's kind of a democratization of publishing on the one hand, so that's why I would love it. But to your point, on the other hand, what does that do for things like peer review and quality? And there's something about when you have a high cost of entry, you've really got to think, do I really want to spend the money on this or not? So that's the give and take in the love and hate.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I totally agree with the democratization of the medium, but I guess it's just a collector in me.
I'm with you.
Once the nice, cover,
That's right. And for a while, I jumped on the bandwagon because again, I'm a technology. If it comes out, I'm gonna be an early adopter in just about everything, which drives my Ginger crazy because she would just assume we're all analog about everything and maybe not even have electricity. But so I'm an early adopter, and so I started getting books on Kindle quickly, and then I realized I'm not reading these, and so I have a lot of books I bought on Kindle. I've never read them.
Oh wow!
Because it's not a comfortable thing for me. I don't enjoy reading on my iPad or previously on my Kindle. What I really like doing is holding a book in my hand, and I can take notes or I can flip the page, and some of it I can remember, like I can visualize. Now this passage was on the back side of the page down in the bottom left hand corner, and you can't really do that on an ebook.
Can't do a Kindle.
So I'm with you. I think that's a really good pick.
So that's my first one.
Yeah. Okay. So this one it's going to be interesting that this is love-hate.
Yeah.
We talked about some of this in the last video, but movie streaming, love-hate, and here's the reason why I love it. I love that I can sit down and I can access and I can find the movie that I want to watch, and I can in that instant, same way with an ebook, that I can download it and I can get it. One of the reasons why I have a kind of this hate relationship with movie streaming is it removes the cinematic production value for so many movies. When movies were made to be shown in a cinema, they were made where when you went into the cinema you were fully immersed in them, and the quality was consistent with what had to be done. Maybe it's like the publishing thing again. With the democratization of making movies with streaming, anybody can make a movie, which is a great thing that anybody can make a movie. And some great movies have been made that way. Napoleon Dynamite, right? There's a low budget, but anybody can make, and with the quality of cameras that people have, they can do it. But at the same time, it means now you're having to wade through lack of quality in order to find quality. So I'm going to say movie streaming.
Okay, that's an interesting pick. I would agree with you, and definitely just from the volume of stuff that is out there. I think that there's a place for that because, of course, everybody likes different things, and and of course, aspiring filmmakers they might appreciate kind of the nuances that maybe I'm not sophisticated enough to see in some of that. For me, it's going to be very similar to the ebooks thing. I think it's because it's disrupting a technology that I really do love, which is the physical cinema. Of course, we have a virus right now that is disrupting.
It's disrupting it as well.
That too. There's nothing to do with tech.
That's right.
But I'm completely with you. There's few simple pleasures in life to me greater than going to the movies, getting the popcorn, sitting and seeing it on the big screen. Especially with somebody else that I enjoy playing with.
That's right.
So I'm with you. I'm with you on that being a disruptive technology. Maybe from a different way though.
There you go. Yep.
All right.
Okay.
That's a good pick. Okay. Next for me is going to be. I'm going to go with video games.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Next. Now, I'm gonna have a little bit of different take on that. So I love video games, and we talked about this in the last time about the consoles coming in. I think for me, we had said this in the last video. Technology built on technology. Video games have gotten so good. Now, when we started off with the Atari 2600, it's basically okay. This is a square, and this square represents the character.
This is a tank.
You are.
Yeah, that's right.
It's kind of like you really had to use your imagination to do that, which maybe was a good thing, maybe not. But now we have graphics that can realistically represent anything that we can imagine. The worlds that are being built are so fully immersive. They're absolutely wonderful, and I love them. But I'm the kind of person that can spend a whole lot more time doing it, and almost you kind of feel like a sense of loss when you have to kind of put that down and go do real life, like spend time with the kids,
exactly,
cook dinner or something.
That's right.
Which is the stupidest thing is like I'm having much more fun cooking in a virtual world than in the real world. But the video games now are just so wonderfully detailed and created, and the stories that they can tell them are so good. It's just like you kind of want to live there as opposed to here sometimes, and I think that's not altogether a good thing.
Well, and I think with that, because I agree with you, it's I enjoy video games as well, and kind of grew up in this age when they came to be, and for the same reason, a lot of the games today they aren't games that are over in 3 or 4 minutes.
No,
and so if you're playing Pong. Or you're playing asteroids, you only got your 3 lives and they're going to blow up. And so there's almost a stopping point in the way video games used to be. With the evolution of video games, now it doesn't end. I mean, there is no end to this. Even if you die, you just respawn again and you go at it. The game is never over. And that's like we were talking about with cell phones earlier. There is no time to shut off. It's like, okay, in the middle of my game, I'm going to stop. And it's hard to do that. And of course, they're designed that way. They want you to keep playing for hours on end. But I see that for sure. But,
and especially with with the internet getting involved, now you can play with other friends, which again is a good thing. But now all of a sudden it's they want to keep going. You're not going to be the person going to drop out of the party.
I know, that's it. That's it.
Yeah, it's wild. And I love it, but also
no doubt. Okay. All right. So for my next tech that I love, or at least use, and so love parts of it, but hate it at the same time, I'm going to say social media.
Okay.
So big. That's a lot fits in social media, whether it's Twitter or Facebook or whatever. For some of the same reasons we've been talking about. What are the benefits of it? You can reach an audience, you can talk to people, you can interact with people that I went to high school with that I never thought I would talk to again. Now suddenly, I'm watching their kids grow up and all this sort of thing. So it's, there are these benefits. You can keep people in touch. When our youngest son had cancer, it was a way to keep people up to speed with what was going on. So I like that, and I like seeing what goes on in other people's lives. And I'm not really so much into cat videos, but I am into people sharing things from their own lives and humor and all that. So I think sure. On the other hand, it can be just a cesspool, especially Twitter. That's the one. That's the biggest one. I just don't. I just don't get. And so in a political climate, Facebook, Twitter, other social media platforms can just become terrible. But.
Yeah, so I don't have a whole lot to say about social media because I'm just not terribly involved
Yeah.
with it. Of course, we have multiple YouTube channels and we do have an Instagram account, but we update that very sparsely. We probably should try and do that a little bit more often. But YouTube is basically it for us, and of course we interact in the comments.
That's right.
As time allows. But I don't have a Facebook account.
Yeah.
I don't have a personal Instagram account or Twitter or any of that kind of stuff.
So this is just a hate relationship. It's not a love-hate relationship with you.
For me, for a lot of the reasons we talk about with cell phones, honestly, I just never kind of went down the route of doing the social media thing because I was working in jobs that I didn't need that.
Sure.
What's funny is if I tried to go back to a lot of those jobs, I probably would need those now, and that would be a real challenge for me.
Yeah.
I completely agree with you about kind of that rabbit hole that you can kind of get down in, and I certainly do see a lot of negatives, especially people with anxiety.
Yeah.
I know a few people that really do struggle with social media because that's their connection to a broader world because they're very very socially isolated.
Yeah.
And so it's very important in that sense. Right. But there's so much complaining and negativity that it's easy to fall into that, and then of course, that's a problem in and of itself.
And you get into comparisons, and it's I don't look like this Instagram person, or I don't look like this person on Facebook or whatever. And so those are some of the challenges with it. But at the same time, it really becomes integral to so much of social interaction that it can be a great benefit for people.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, it's like any other tool. It can help you build a house or can tear one down.
That's right. That's a good analogy there.
So that's a great pick. It's not something I thought about just because I don't really do a whole lot of social media, but that definitely would be one. All right, my next one. This is gonna be a pet peeve of mine. And that's gonna be smart home devices. Now you may feel differently about this.
Yeah.
I can't walk into Sam's Club or Costco without somebody approaching me wanting to talk to me about hooking some device up to my house that's going to do stuff in my house while I'm not there.
That's right.
And I ask these people a lot, and it's semi-serious and somewhat joking, but have you learned nothing from all the science fiction movies that we've seen about giving robots control and the problems that come with it?
That's right. Have you never watched Blade Runner? I mean, come on.
Blade Runner, Terminator, any of those things, I am not going to give the robots.
That's right. That's exactly right.
They're going to have to take it from my cold dead hands, which they may be fine with doing.
They're happy with doing that.
They may have figured, they may have done the calculations to figure out that that's what has to happen. But I will not go peacefully.
Yeah, that's good. I like that.
So yeah, for me, it's something that I don't have, nor do I really see going down that route. I've got friends that have done it, and they just love it. I'm just not with it, and I really do enjoy a lot of the commercials that are done humorously about people just saying something and all of a sudden Alexa's ordering a crate or something.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you gotta love that.
And I kind of snicker and I'm like, that's what you get.
You chose it. So.
But I've got a friend who has hooked up their house, like their thermostat and stuff, and they can control their thermostat from their cell phone. I'm like, I don't see the
push the button.
I don't see the allure of that, but I definitely understand, that maybe people want the temperature of their house to be an exactly right temperature when they walk in, and it's just not me. I've just never been that person, and so for me, it's just a big why.
Right. Yeah.
Why
spend the extra money or give the extra time or devote the extra attention to, somebody else opening up, you're popping out your toaster for you instead of you.
Yeah, and like I said, I've seen maybe one too many science fiction movies. I just kind of see the down.
It works great on the Jetsons, but that's about it.
Yeah.
Every other instance of turning your life over to the robots ends badly.
Yeah, it's all good and well until the robot that's controlling your thermostat starts making it 90 degrees at night when you're trying to sleep.
That's right.
And they're doing it because they're trying to sleep deprive you to make it easier to control.
Absolutely, or it cuts out your oxygen, whatever it is. No, that's good. That's a great one. That's actually a really good one. And it's people can love it, but it can be a problem. All right. I think this is number 5 for me. Is that right?
Is it?
I think so.
You had cell phone, internet, movie streaming, social media.
Anyway. Okay.
So
we'll get there. So this is for me, my the tech that I really love, but at the same time I really hate is digital music.
Okay.
And here's the reason why. So I love that I can have 1,000 songs on my phone.
Yeah.
Or I love that I can just stream from Spotify and I can listen to anything I want. And so I can look up on Amazon Music or YouTube Music and say I want this song at this time. I love that freedom to choose that. But the quality of analog music, there's just something about analog. That it's with movies, people they say I can tell the difference between film and digital. I can't do that. I mean, I can't tell the difference. But when it comes to music, listening to something on an audio cassette or reel to reel, or an album on a turntable, there's just something about the little pops and the little hisses that I think it takes me back.
Okay.
It's nostalgia.
Okay.
But so I love having digital music and I love the benefits, but I also at the same time really don't like the music that's digital.
Okay. So I'll go a different direction with the digital music. So I'm with you. I'm with you from the collector aspect.
Yeah, sure.
I love physically owning it.
That's right.
Because they can't take it away from you.
Absolutely.
Because all these services, they can just wipe your
you're done.
And you're done.
That's right.
Hopefully they don't do that. But yeah, I'm with you. I love the convenience of digital music. From the collector side of things, I love owning, holding that physical piece. And yeah, I have some of that nostalgia of like the pops and the hisses.
Yeah.
Most of the LPs in my house were all scratched up.
So skipping.
I don't have the. I have more of a love relationship with the cassette tape, which is very odd.
That's right.
Because that's widely considered to be the most inferior of
the
analog. I don't ever have the experience with the tape going crazy and spitting out a machine. Yeah, that just never happened to me. But I do remember having to
reel it up with
the pencil eraser or my finger. So I do have that. What I don't like about digital music is digital recording. Now it's wonderful from the democratization of it, and no longer do you need these record companies. Of course, if you want to become Beyonce or something like that, you do.
Of course.
But anybody can produce professional sounding music with their laptop. But there is something about being able to go in and visually see your music on a graph and be able to fix every little nuance that I don't like.
Yeah, that's right.
Because to me, it's those nuances that make it personal and make it good.
That's right.
And we've kind of gotten to a point where everything sort of sounds the same because they're engineering it the same.
Right.
It's meant to sound the same. And I don't really like that. So so for me, digital music, I agree with. It's just in a different direction than you went.
Yeah.
But that's a good one. Yeah. That's a really good one. Okay, so did you go first?
I went first. We're on number 5.
Okay, so I've got my last one. All right, so my last one is going to be augmented reality / virtual reality.
Okay.
And that's going to be more so from the standpoint of promises not delivered.
Right.
So this has been technology that has been promised and just... It's just not there.
Still not there.
And I don't really know if we're going to get there, to be honest with you. It's especially frustrating to me because I see this every year at Toy Fair. A lot of companies, I won't call out anybody specifically, but a lot of companies who have made just brilliant toys, great toys, beloved toys, they're always trying to introduce this tech component to it. And a couple of years ago, a company invited Shannon and I into a booth and they showed us their new lineup, which was going to be this great toy. By itself, the toy is wonderful. But then they had an app that was going to go with it. We were going to have augmented reality and stuff. And the toy line flopped because parents love the toy, grandparents love the toy and want to buy it for their kid, but they don't understand the technological component.
Right.
And the app just really kind of confused people, messed it up. And I see that more and more. It seems like everybody wants to do this technology online thing with stuff that doesn't need it.
Right.
It's like, I don't need an app for Mr. Potato Head to be wonderful. And that wasn't one of the toys.
That's right, yeah.
So for me, we've got a reality that's great.
Yeah.
I love the idea of digital or virtual reality, but I just feel like we haven't gotten there yet. And as I get older, I'm really questioning the need for it.
You're right. Do we even want that? I mean, do we need an alternative reality, as it were? And, the only place that I've seen where it's worked and worked well is like home decoration. So you take a picture of your wall, and then you can put, you look, okay, this is what this sofa would look like in my living room or something. that's useful and beneficial. But outside of that, in terms of entertainment or immersion, I don't see it working.
I'm with you. I'm with you on that. All right, so that's gonna do it for us. Those are our picks of tech that we love, but we also hate.
That's right.
All right, how about you guys? What did we miss that would make your list? Please leave those comments down below. Leave any questions you have for us down below, and make sure to hit the thumbs up button if you enjoyed it. And we'll see you guys in the next video.